The race to produce the tanks, way ahead of schedule, was well underway. The full power of private competitive industry, its manpower, its resources, its facilities, was again proving its worth when turned to the job of America's defense. And the seemingly impossible became an accomplished fact. Where less than 6 months before had been only an open cornfield, now a huge tank arsenal was producing its first sample two-room tanks. Here was a crawling juggernaut of modern warfare, constructed of the world's finest armor steel, assembled by the very engineers and experts who planned its production, with a gross weight equal to that of a 5-room frame house. Its upwards of 35,000 parts were assembled with skill and precision. And nearby, number 2 tank, a second sample job, was also already well on its way toward completion. Here indeed was forceful evidence of industry doing a job for defense. Uncle Sam wanted speed and performance, and he got it. And the arsenal which was to produce them in the quantities required was a truly great monument to the spirit of American men and American industry. Here is proof that the spirit of freedom and private competitive enterprise is able to meet a challenge. Into this effort of first-line defense went the full skill and all-out energy of American men, bound in cooperative endeavor to provide the world's finest arms and armament for our Army and Navy. The first crowning climax to this record-breaking achievement, the transformation of a peaceful farmland into a powerful arsenal for the mass production of tanks, was achieved with the delivery to the Army on April 24th of the first full-armed, ready-for-combat M3 medium tank made by American industry. In keeping with the spirit and cooperation that went into its planning and production, this first sample tank was presented to the Army as a gift from Chrysler distributors, dealers, and their salesmen, paid for with funds which they themselves freely contributed. At the presentation ceremonies, Harry Summers of Atlanta said, "I represent Chrysler distributors, dealers, and salesmen from all parts of the United States. When we first heard the news that Chrysler Corporation had undertaken to build tanks for our government, we wanted in some way to participate. We decided to ask to buy, with funds contributed by ourselves, the very first tank to be built here, and to present it to the United States Army with our compliments." After making the formal presentation over a national radio hookup, the thanks of the United States Army was expressed by Major General Charles M. Wesson, Chief of Ordnance, in the presence of Governor Murray D. Van Wagoner of Michigan, and many other high-ranking government, state, and Army officials. From specially built grandstands and other points of vantage, the entire assembly witnessed the first tank in action, as it demonstrated its strength, maneuverability, and firing power. Pride of accomplishment surged in the minds and hearts of the onlookers as the 31-ton giant was put through its paces. Here was a giant weapon for streamlined modern warfare. Swiftly moving walls of tough, bullet-resisting steel, able to move over difficult terrain at better than 25 miles an hour. Mobile, flexible, fast. Military experts acclaimed these American Army tanks better than any similar mechanized war equipment, a mighty safeguard for our nation. General Wesson and President K.T. Keller of Chrysler Corporation watched the mighty moving fortress as, with cannon booming and machine guns chattering, fully ready for frontline action, nothing hindered its progress. Climax of the day was the unheralded appearance of the second tank, which had been completed that very day. American men and American industry had carried out the Army's order of the day and had taken a major step toward arming the country for defense. But, proud and impressive as were these ceremonies, they were but an incident marking progress in the big job to be done. For as the first tank was shipped, others were on their way. The cool, keen, swift, coordinated action which had marked the building of the arsenal and the construction of the first sample two-room tanks now gave way to the job of assembly line tank production. This great defense effort began to reap the harvest of its labors as production tanks filled the first assembly line. Then the second. relentlessly rolling, the third assembly line was filled, and mass production was on the way. All hands turned to the job of building tanks in volume. Smooth American business-like coordination and cooperation is the keynote in production as it was in preparation. Free, patriotic cooperation, the American way. Quantities of all manner of parts, mighty steel armor plate, cast steel forgings of varying sizes and designs, mighty 2-ton turrets, each a veritable fortress in itself, stand ready to feed these assembly lines of defense. From the largest tank part down to the smallest, each is ready to do its job in Uncle Sam's new armed strength. All materials brought together from more than 700 factories located in 130 communities throughout the country are carefully checked to specifications for strength, measurements, and weight, for Uncle Sam must take no chances. Veteran expert machinists mill contact surfaces to hair-splitting specifications. Giant multiple drills bore through the toughest metal. Row upon row of intricate, specially designed machinery manufacture and prepare the 35,000 or more individual parts that go into each land dreadnought. Welding, milling, riveting, measuring and remeasuring vital parts to hair-splitting dimensions. Then, at the beginning of the main assembly line, the hull sub-assembly begins to take on a vaguely recognizable shape. Rubber cushion wheels are set into place, ready to run onto caterpillar treads at the end of the line. On down the line, more and more parts and inner fittings are added until the tank is ready for the paint oven and its first coat of United States Army olive green. Next comes the big radial motor capable of pushing this land battleship at a speed of 25 miles per hour. The 3,600-pound swivel gun turret is swung into position, its ruggedness seeming to hurl defiance at any who might challenge it. Then the vital caterpillar tread is added. With armament complete, the tank's guns, including the formidable 75mm cannon, are mounted in place. And Uncle Sam's answer to all challengers is ready for a 75-mile test before delivery to the Army, complete and ready to defend America. Thus, from these assembly lines of defense, roll defenders of America in ever-increasing numbers. Chrysler Corporation is proud of this record in tank production, but it is only one phase of its part in the vast national defense program. Every division of Chrysler Corporation, Chrysler, DeSoto, Dodge, and Plymouth, is also doing its important jobs for first-line defense. Special Army trucks are coming off the lines at the Dodge truck plant at the rate of more than 250 every working day, and have been for many months.